people say the results show how risk-averse Singaporeans are.
I think one has to admit it is so, seems to be. As you rightly pointed out, that all the signals, rightly or wrongly, have predicted for a very good win for the opposition, and the PAP will have to be prepared for another setback this time round, a further erosion of the trend which has started in 2006. But it did not happen, and I think the surprise, and if it is not a shock of the ground, is highly representative of the general mood of the country, because all sectors, scholars, analysts, opposition parties, even bookies have been saying that, be prepared for this. And revealingly, the Prime Minister himself admitted the results, in his words, exceeded our expectations.
So what you're saying is that the people feared too many opposition members will make it to Parliament.
I think you have pointed out to an explanation which has not been very much reiterated, which deserve to be further considered as a major factor. Because all the analysis so far have zeroed in on factors like, the ground was sweet with all the goodies and incentives and SG50, the celebrations, the Lee Kuan Yew factor, who have done much for Singapore. These were fine, this is okay, cumulative and so on. And also the new tactics and strategy and the softness of the PAP approach in winning back the ground. But I think there could be some of the factors which needed a little bit more reflection and trying to make sense of something which is totally unexpected. The first thing is what you are alluding to, that, you had a lot of Singaporeans, I feel, and this is being echoed by a lot of analysts now, that who had actually wanted to see two things happening concurrently. They want the PAP government to continue because the PAP has done a good job. At the same time, they want these things called checks and balances, which manifestly imply some numbers of opposition members to try to make things better.
Isn't it true, though, that such a massive win puts a lot of pressure on the PAP as well? It is unlikely, or rather it will be very difficult for it to maintain 70% at the next election.
Indeed, I think so. I think the ball now is on the court more on the PAP government than the losing side, i.e. the opposition. For a simple reason, the expectation is that you maintain that 70% is highly unrealistic. For historical explanations and so on. And also, you can reach a certain level of the peak of your electoral mandate. The only way next is to either maintain it or go down. And I think in as much as there have been a reversal of fortunes for opposition this time around, in the next elections, the pendulum could swing again on the other side. It depends on circumstances and the feelings of Singaporeans, how they assess things in the next 4 or 5 years.
In terms of political maturity of Singaporeans, is this one step forward, 2 steps back?
Yeah, this is something I think all Singaporeans will have to start thinking and searching their soul, because in as much as, you've been hearing statements of, they wanting a lot more voices in Parliament to try to make the PAP better. But when it really comes to the crunch, when they go considerations, they were even prepared to change their minds.
Is the discontent among Singaporeans real then?
I think yes. I think discontent, in the sense that they want that, their views and their grievances accumulated over many years to be given additional attention, and they want the government to be more inclusive than it has been doing so far. And the government has been doing a good job, but again, the government, I think, even considered that, a lot more new things can be done to get Singaporeans into the same boat, and including, in last elections when this could be affected into the response too, but why the sudden swing to the PAP. I think new citizens, there must be a discussion about, how the new citizens could also play a role in shaping the future destiny of Singapore.
But some say the new citizens accounted for only 4% of the electorate.
By numbers is big, and you're talking about new citizens. If you limit it 4%, this necessarily would be in the period of the last 5 years. The population census says that you roughly have about 28,000 per year new citizens. You times that 5, you get for this election period of the voters. But new citizens will continue to be all non-citizens in the early years before this, when they see all this hype about anti-foreign sentiment, said by all and every opposition parties, by many Singaporeans. I think they decided to band together to just indicate enough, because our future is at stake. We are now also citizens. We don't like this hype to continue. We want to send a signal. We go on a big kind of entourage to support the PAP government.
All right.